Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, we discussed, the day before. I mean, I think it's a different day in the US, but it's the same day in here.
Yeah.
So, we discussed about the Lambda, the functionalities of it, like it's serverless, stateless. It won't remember, what happened in the last run, and it is like scalable, but it has a limitation of 15 minutes, and multiple invocations can happen at the same time, max of 1,000. So they,
Yeah.
yeah. So we discussed a few things like how to invoke your Lambda function, the ways to start it. So one thing is events. So event is something which happens, like general meaning of event is when something happens, it's called an event, right? So
Yeah.
whenever something happens, it should start your Lambda automatically. So that is event based, event driven, triggering. Second thing is schedule based. So schedule based means you have a certain schedule, and on that particular time, on daily basis or monthly basis, depending on your schedule, this Lambda would start automatically. There is no one to upload a file that starts your Lambda automatically, or if it is scheduled, it will run at that time.
Yeah.
You're getting it. You are able
Yes.
to recollect, right? So basically, I will today we would be seeing how a schedule, event bridge. We can see what event bridge does and how we can schedule a Lambda using event bridge. That is one, the hands-on that we cover. But most importantly, last time it was only a simple code that in the Lambda that we just printed file has been successfully uploaded something. So today we would be going bit more basics like Boto, what is Boto 3, and what do we call the Boto 3 methods that we have, and all that stuff. So how to integrate. If you remember what Boto 3 is, Boto 3 is a library, or you can say there is something called SDK. So what Boto 3 does is, using Boto 3 you can communicate with your AWS services. So if in the very first class, I said you about how do you access AWS? One is through console, right? AWS console. What is
Yes.
console? When you use a browser using Chrome or something, okay, you manually log in and you access open, S3, create buckets, all that stuff, right? So
Yeah.
that is one way, console way. Second one is Boto 3. Boto 3 means programmatically, meaning Python and you want to run your Python scripts, and this should communicate with AWS services like AWS, Lambda, EC2, all that things automatically. So there is no Chrome, there would be no browser, and using Python, if you are a core developer, you should be able to access all the things to create bucket, upload files, get files, all that stuff using only Python. That is made possible using something called Boto 3. Okay. Okay, and the third way is CLI. So we have that CLI, like a Unix based thing on the console itself. When if you want to run some commands like Linux admin or kind of thing for creating buckets, deleting buckets, all that stuff, every service, there is the third option, which is CLI. So basically it's console, Python and CLI. So for the important among these things for us is Python. As a data engineer, we would be using Python a lot in our day-to-day activities. So Boto 3 is very important to know at least the basics how Boto 3 works. I mean, the prerequisite is Python, but I'll make sure that you will understand Boto 3 since you are new to Python. I will also try to explain the max out of the basic stuff of Boto 3. So till clear, is it clear?
I mean, can you repeat again for this topic, sir?
Yeah, yeah. So so you know how to log in into AWS account, right? And
Yeah.
work with open search for Lambda service, search for S3 bucket, create Lambda function, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that's the console way, meaning you have some browser where you log in and do the stuff. Clear till
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Second way is using Python. So you execute your Python code. I mean, you have no access to console. You are unable to log in, and using Python only, you need to do all that stuff. Whether it's create function, create bucket, upload files. You click right, upload file, upload it successfully. All that stuff from console. So if you do not have access to console, there is another way. Using Python, we can do it.
Okay.
Okay, and using Python, we need Boto3 to do all that stuff, like what you were doing on console, uploading files, deleting files, moving files, renaming, all that stuff, creating buckets, playing around lambdas, all that stuff. So using Python, you can do it, but it is using Boto3. Boto3 is, a way to do so using Python. Clear till here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. And third way is command line tool. Like you do not know the console. I mean, you never logged in and you don't know Python. Third one is CLI, meaning if you are familiar with Linux, all that Linux based commands, this is a way to run simple commands like create bucket command, upload file command. There would be certain commands, AWS CLI, and you can do using, these things. But we would be focusing more on Boto3 since as a Python, widely used in data engineering day-to-day activities. So this is our major thing: console, on console, and Python.
Okay.
So clear till here?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, right? Okay. So let's start with something called Boto3, and I'll open my uh, browser. Let me know if my uh, screen is visible.
Yeah. It's visible now.
It is visible, right? So this is how when you log in, this is the console way. So you manually, do all these things like you can search, you can open, do that stuff, create, upload. This is your bucket. You can upload, create a bucket, upload objects into it. Objects are simply files. Okay. So all these things, right? You are doing this in a console way. This is called console access because the entire screen that you are seeing is called a console, AWS console.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. So, but if you want to do all that stuff from a Python code, you use Boto3. And once you write your Python code, where do you execute it? Lambda is the way, right?
Yeah,
Lambda says, hey, you have some code, put it here, and I'll just run your code, right?
yeah.
So this was the previous code, like small code, where it says file has been uploaded successfully to the bucket, and we were just printing the event. And we have also created a trigger to this lambda when this code should be executed, when this code should be started. So we have created a add trigger and we chose the bucket, and we gave any file that ends with the pdf should start your lambda. So as soon as we uploaded this file, this lambda got executed, and we verified that in your CloudWatch, which CloudWatch is a service to view the logs. So what are logs? It's the print statements.
Yes.
Okay, so we checked the logs and it has been successfully that day. It said, file has been successfully uploaded and the event. So this was the event. So we printed two lines. One is file has been successfully uploaded. Second line is the event itself. So event and file has been okay. This is done. So now we'll get little deeper into the coding and we'll start what Boto3 is. So as I said, simply Boto3 is a way to interact with your all the services, any service like be it S3. In our example, it is S3, right? So for today, we are going to try to access the service which is S3 buckets from the code, right? Is this
Okay.
clear or am I confusing you? This one point. Shall I repeat the point?
Yeah, yeah.
So, Pranit, so today we are going to access one service. So in AWS, everything is a service, right? All this S3, Lambda, all these are different services, right? Accept it, you know it, right? So
Yes.
today our goal is to using Python Boto3, we want to connect to S3 instead of manually going here, clicking on the bucket, uploading file on a console way. Using Python, we want to connect to AWS S3 service.
Okay.
Clear till here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as I said already, Boto3 is the way to do it. So just we need to type in import Boto3. So when we want to use Boto3 within our code, we need to import it first. Only then we would be able to use that. Okay.
Okay.
And so what is the service that we are going to use in our Boto3? S3,
Yes.
right? S3. So we need to create a S3 object. Like we can name, give it any name. Like you can give S3 equals to, or if you want to clear, if you want to clear understanding, S3 underscore object, like anything, but you need to give it a name. So this we will be using as a reference equals to, and we since we have imported Boto3, now we have to use it. So I'm just copying Boto3, paste here Boto3, and there is one command or this thing, and within brackets you need to give S3. So for example, if you are connecting with any other function like any other thing like maybe what else maybe EMR, like, or maybe secret manager, maybe IAM, maybe DynamoDB. So whatever you want to interact with or communicate with, in the brackets of client you need to give that name. Like for
Okay.
example, if it is a EC2, you will say EC2
Client is client.
client EC2. If it is a DynamoDB table, you just say DynamoDB. So
Okay.
just remember this point, and it would be easier for you. So if it is a DynamoDB, just Dynamo or DynamoDB, whatever they have in their website. So basically, you need to create a client for which you are trying to interact. So for
Okay.
example, we are trying to interact with S3. Our bucket is S3 bucket. So S3 service, I give Boto3 client S3. So once you call this, you can give it any name. Like this value would be transferred to here just for your understanding. Since you are new to Python, after equals to, this is right hand side RHS, this is LHS, right? So whatever you do, you are doing creating a S3 service reference, and you are storing into a variable called S3 object. So in your entire code from now, you can use this S3 object and work depending on your usabilities.
Okay.
So it's simple. Just for example, if you are quite new to Boto3, what we need to do is not only you, even the developers, we even if you have worked on a lot of things, we would definitely visit the documentation so that we won't do any mistakes. So and since it is S3, we'll just type in another tab like Boto3, Boto3, and what's the service? S3.
S3.
And we would be get there will be a lot of methods in S3, and we will finally say documentation. So documentation means the official documentation which says how to use that Boto3 if you don't know. So if you see here first line, what they are saying, first do this. Okay,
Okay.
before doing anything, import Boto3. So if you don't know anything, just copy this and paste it in your Lambda function in your code part. But I have already typed it Boto3, import Boto3. Second line is very important. They have what they did, Boto3 dot client in the brackets. Since this is S3, they give S3. That's it. And on LHS, you can give any name. As I said, you can say S3 object, or you can just call it client. It's up to you. We'll call it S3 client. It will be even more clear. Okay,
Okay.
S3 underscore client. So you created S3 client, right? So we just call it S3 underscore client. It is easier to remember. Okay, you can pass it any name, but we use S3 underscore client for now. And now that you have initialized your S3 connection, okay, from your Lambda, now do whatever you want. So for example, this is our what we call bucket, right? So for example, if you want to we'll do one thing. This is our S3, right? In S3, how many buckets do we have here, if we can count manually?
Yeah, we got four, right?
Yeah, we got four, right? One was the recent one, and four. So now using S3 client, you in your programmatic way. So how did you say that it is four, right? On console, you have viewed it, and you can count literally. But as I said, using Python Boto 3, you should not. It's not the console way. Consider you don't have access to S3, and you want to know what all the buckets you had. in your account. So at that time using Python, you can do this way. So we'll head back to the documentation. So if you see here, all these are available methods. It's saying these are all available methods, and it's impossible to remember everything, right? There are like many
A
things.
lot. Okay.
Okay. So, but our idea, our goal is to count the number of or list the number of buckets in my AWS account. So consider you don't know there are four. Now try to, we will try to fetch that. Okay. So if you see here, there are a lot of methods. We need to find like what would be the, if you see here, it is a copy object, like, copying object from one folder to another folder, create bucket, create session, delete bucket, all these things are there. Let's scroll down. If there anything related to list something, list all the buckets, count the bucket, something like that. If you see here, there is list bucket, analytics it seems, and yeah, here it is, list buckets, right?
Okay.
So just click on it and it will give you the syntax, like how you would be using it in your code. So you can just have a look on what this is. They'll explain like what this means, like but the function name is list underscore buckets. So this is the main function name. So what they did, client dot list buckets is the method name, and within the method name what you want to pass, that they are explaining. And if you see here, these are the various the four parameters that they are saying, and I'm not sure if they are mandatory. Yeah, there is a field called required. If there is no, there is no need to pass this continuation taken, continuation token, no prefix. If you want any, yeah, we'll try this one. What's the name? We just need this method name, list underscore buckets. So we'll quickly go back to our code, and now let's see. So we'll say our output, right? Or just say print. And what do we want? We want the buckets, list of buckets,
Buckets.
right? So here our client name is S3 client, S3 client dot list underscore buckets. And since this is a method, you need to give a double quotes. So even if you see here, there is an opening bracket and closing
Yeah.
bracket, and these are not mandatory. We'll see whether this works or not. Okay. Now we are printing, what we are printing, s3 client dot list buckets. So now we will just deploy it. So whenever you do some code, you don't forget to deploy it. Deploy means this code will be saved, just like control S.
Okay.
Okay, now you see successfully updated the function. So now that this is done, we'll just quickly, you know, uh, click on test and see whether it's running or we will be getting any IAM error.
Okay.
Okay, and just choosing test run, the output. Yeah, okay. If you see here, it says
Yeah.
status failed, and the reason, what is the error message? Task timed out after 3 seconds, meaning it has run for 3 seconds, and due to time limitation this has been, the execution stopped. But if you remember what I said, we have maximum of 15 minutes to for a lambda to run, right?
Yeah. 15
But
minutes.
yeah, but now it says only after 3 seconds it ran. So first we will go and increase the time limit. So basically by default they will give only 3 seconds when you create a new function, lambda function. So under configuration, you see general configuration, and if you see currently it is timeout is set to 3 seconds. You can edit it, we can edit it, and we can increase the timeout, like maybe 1 minute, up to 15 minutes you can give it. Okay, it says 15 minutes is the max. So for time being, let's give it like 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes 0 seconds. Okay,
Okay.
click on save, and now let's try running again. Okay, what it is saying? Okay, so it is saying an error like which says you do not have access. Okay, that's where IAM into comes into picture. So if you see here, your assumed role, the role that this lambda has, Like when we created this Lambda, I asked you to like leave it the default, right? Like default execution role, basic role. So due to that, what it's happening is it's unable to perform that list. I mean, what I'm trying to say is our Lambda function has no power or authority to list all the buckets that S3 has in your account. Meaning, because at the end of the day, even though they all come under AWS is a big family, right? And Lambda
Yeah.
functions is a service, and S3 buckets is also service. But this service is not having, what do you call, permissions on other service, which is S3. You're getting it? Or shall I explain you this point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. What are these like Lambda? If you're seeing my screen, Lambda, RDS, DBMS, DMS, IAM, what are all these things?
They're like services, right? I mean,
They are like
services provided.
services, right?
Yeah.
Right, perfect. So, what AWS says is, even though they are individual services, they all come under AWS, but still no service can have, access to other service without proper permissions and rights. For example, this is our Lambda, and we are trying to list the buckets from which service? S3 service, right? So it says first get proper permissions, and only then your Lambda would be able to list the buckets. Since we are using list buckets, so our basically the error means your Lambda is is not able to uh, get the permission for S3 to view the buckets. So that is when we go with a concept called IAM, and we'll quickly add the permission so that our Lambda would be able to have
Access
the
to.
access for S3. Clear till here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to do so, we can scroll down, and there should be some the role related details, or otherwise again go back to configuration here, and if you see there is something called permissions. As I said, all the permissions would be given through a role in IAM in AWS. So if you see here, what is the role name for your Lambda? This is a hello world role which got automatically created. Now we'll click on it. Once you click on it, you'd be redirected to IAM. So basically, IAM is also one service. So basically, I'll tell you one thing. S3 is your storage service, right? Lambda
Yeah.
is your code execution service, right?
Correct.
So similar to these two services, there is one service called IAM, meaning Identity and Access Management. Okay, so under IAM you handle all the services, like how each service should have permission on other service. For every all those stuff, there is a dedicated service called IAM. Okay. Okay, now this is an IAM console. This is S3 console. This is your Lambda console. This is IAM console. So within IAM, you can say what Lambda can do. What permissions does your Lambda have? Not only Lambda, what permissions your step functions has. All other services, they are configured under one place called IAM. So basically, it's like permission. Just imagine what whenever you hear a name called permissions or access in AWS, you need to open IAM. Just search for
Okay.
IAM, and open it. Or since I bookmarked it, I opened it directly. Okay, so our Lambda is having this role here, and let's see what it is. So it says it's a basic execution role. Basic means your Lambda function has very basic permissions. What does basic permissions mean? It will print whatever your code is. It will just execute your code, that's it. But it will not have access to other services like S3 or any other things, DynamoDB, etc. So now you almost got it. Like now what's the thing that we want to do? We need to give our Lambda the permission for S3, right? Clear till here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is something called add permissions here. So this is your Lambda role, hello world role under IAM. Now click on add permission. So it's saying attach policies. So just click on attach policies, and now you see a hell lot of permissions. So not only for S3 but also for everything, Athena access, this access, that access, RDS, database, all access. But our goal is for S3 access, right?
Yes, sir.
So you just search here just type in S3 and just click enter. So you would be seeing a lot of things, right? On S3 also there are a lot of things, but for simplicity, we'll just add Amazon S3 full access, meaning there will be full access given to your Lambda. Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
just quickly add that Amazon S3 full access. And see, if you see here, it is the description. What the description says, provides full access to all buckets via the console. Okay, so it will give the full access to all the buckets, and within buckets all the objects. So you have basically the everything, every access, full access. Just click on, once check that, click on add permissions. Okay, policy was attached to the role. That's it. So in your lambda function, for your lambda IAM role, now you have, along with basic role, you have full access role. That's it. So now we should be able to run our code. Go back to lambda, and we need not deploy it again because we didn't change any code, right? We just updated the role, IAM role. Okay, I'm
Okay.
just clear till here.
Yeah.
We just click test here now and choose the test event. Now let's look at the output. Now if you see, I'm just expanding it. So it has, given you some succeeded. Status is succeeded, and it has shown all the details. But it is difficult to read, right? If
Yeah.
you're understanding, it's very, so we, what we expected. Hey, it simply says like these are the four buckets, bucket names. But if you look at here, it is like very tough to understand. So we need to format the print statement. So we directly printed everything, right? So instead we'll just beautify this so that it would be easier for us to read. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, how do we do that? So instead of directly printing, first we will remove this here, remove from print statement, and we will, instead of directly printing, we will add this to another variable called, your response or something. You can call it output or response of your list buckets method. So whenever this line is executed, okay, as I said, the execution starts whenever you click on test, right? The execution starts from lambda handler first line. So this first, this would be executed. Second, this line would be executed. So on, one by one line, it will be executed. In the first line, it is creating a Boto3 connection for S3. Okay, and in second line, using that client connection, you are listing the buckets and storing it back to a variable called response. So all the dirty, unformatted thing that you are seeing here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be stored in this line response. So
Okay.
the now that response word will have all this, unformatted thing, dirty thing. So now we need to beautify the response so that you can have, cleaner picture. So let's see. So what does I'm just trying to see what this is containing. So you are containing response metadata, all this stuff, names. Okay, you are having something called buckets. Okay, we'll do quickly do one thing. Whatever the the dirty formatted thing, we'll just copy it. Okay, so that we'll have a understanding of how the data looks like, and we'll then modify the code. Okay, so this is a JSON format. Okay, just to just as an awareness, whenever you having something like in curly braces, right, your output, that is a JSON format. So what
Okay.
JSON files will have is key value pairs. So this is key and the value is this thing. Okay,
Okay.
and this is key, the value is application, and the name is a key, the value is cleanse bucket. Creation date is a key and the value is whatever. So like that, key value pair, whenever it's a key value, it's called JSON dictionary. Okay, now we will beautify this, and there would be, JSON formatters online also. You can open any that thing and you can just paste your, dirty thing here. And when you click on format beautify, right? Format beautify, it should, okay, what is it saying? Okay, so it's asking me to convert all the single quotes to double quotes. Let me quickly do that. Is there anything? Control F. Yeah, it's a Control F. But how do you replace search for single quotes? And it try. Let me quickly. We will do one thing. I'll just copy this back. Hmm, I'll just open any online text editor. Okay, and I will format. Okay, so let me share my entire screen so that you would. I mean, the reason why I'm doing this online is I only shared my, this one, the browser. So, or let me just quickly do it. I
Okay.
will just convert the double quotes to single quotes in my system, and I'll just you would be able to see again. Replace replace with this one done. Okay. Yeah, I hope you are able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just pasting this. I'm just clicking beautify. Okay, it's saying again. Okay, patient date time. Okay, yeah. Now you can see, right? It's a beautified version of it, and this is our response that got printed here.
Okay.
And if you see, there is something called request metadata, this one, that one, and all we care about is the buckets, right? How many buckets you have? Just give me the names of it.
Yeah.
So you have this something called buckets. So within response, there is something called buckets. So we'll quickly, modify the code based on it. So first, response is having all this, noise, unwanted thing.
Right.
So within response, we'll first filter out what we want. What do we want? We want buckets, right? And we'll see the
Yes.
spelling, like whether it's small buckets or capital buckets. So we have this buckets. So with this entire thing is response, and within response, we capturing buckets. Okay,
Yep.
and I'm giving it in since it's a dictionary, I'm just reading. So now you have response and buckets will only be printed. So and even for buckets you have all these things, creation time and all that stuff. So but still let us try and print it. So I'm just deploying my code. So you understood the code, right? First we took the response,
Yes.
and out of response only buckets we need, the bucket names, right? Okay, and now let's try running this. Look at the output. Okay, so if you see here, now it is much cleaner compared to the last time thing. So we have name, 4 buckets, and creation time, and still this is not very clean. So in Python, how do we format all this thing, other stuff also? So we'll use. So you know that this is a list, right? So this is a list of all the bucket names it's having. So what we will do is we will iterate through it. There is something called per loop and per item in the buckets. What do we have for item in buckets? We need only name. Okay. print all this. Capital N. Okay, what is saying? Error message name is not found. We have capital N. Let's deploy it again. Yeah, now you see here. So you need to look
Yeah.
at the commands like from start to end. In between start and end, your the output is there. So the four bucket names: AWS training, cleanse bucket, raw bucket, Spotify. Okay, four buckets. And how do we formatted it? I'll just quickly explain. So whenever it returns the list buckets, right? It was all this stuff, like the entire part that you are seeing on the screen, right? So this is your response, and out of your response what you are fetching, you're grabbing only buckets, this buckets
Yeah,
field.
buckets names.
So yeah, under bucket names also you have other things like unwanted thing like creation name and all. So what we do, we use for loop to iterate through this bucket, and we are only fetching names of individual things. So that's what I did here. So we are iterating over the loop of the buckets, and we are fetching the name for each item. So there are four items, so you would be printing four times four item names. Those are
Yeah.
this one, this one, this one, this one. Yes, clear till here?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, this is how you interact with S3 service and using Boto3. So here the basic, the main thing is Boto3 client, which is S3 client in our case.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll quickly have one more,
I mean,
Boto3 task.
I have a
Yeah.
question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why do you went to the JS and you formatted into BT5A, right?
Yeah.
Why
I'll tell
why
you.
do why you want to
Why
do that?
why I want to do is I don't know what response is because here I'm unable to. It was
Okay,
like
okay.
jumbled when. So only when you know what you want to grab, that is capital BUCK. How do we know? Like it could be any
Okay.
other name. So you to grab what we want out of this entire response, we need something to look at and fetch it, right? So for example,
Okay.
if you want a person has lot of things: address, age, phone number. If you want to
Yeah.
know address, you need to give address within your a response. So that's the reason to have a just a beautified look. That's it. So if you already know that your response would contain something called buckets, that's well and good. Directly give buckets
I
item
can
name.
type
But
that.
since we, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's a basic thing. Okay. So
Okay.
this was one such method of Boto3, which is to list the buckets. Now let's see in our bucket, which is October training, and you have something called this file, right?
Yes.
Okay, and now we will be trying to print or the content of file, like maybe count the number of lines that is present in your what do we call file.
The PDF.
Okay, instead of simple printing the bucket names, let's make it little complex. So in Python you use hash to comment. So if you want to do not want to run some code, okay, just make it add a hash in front of that code. That line would not be executed. You see the color has changed and this would be never executed. So when you run it now, the first line, this line would be executed, and directly this line, whatever you write now, ABCD, that would be executed. These three will be
Okay.
skipped. Okay, since we already checked this code to list the things, we'll let's instead of deleting, I'm just commenting it out. And now let's see what it will say. We want to count the lines in my file. Okay, this is my file, and I want to count the you know uh, or print the content of something like that. So let's go back to the S3 documentation, and you should be something see something related to it. Instead of list, you should see something like get object. Get object is one thing. And do we have anything else? If you want to upload some file, you need put object. You're getting it right,
Yeah.
like on
Yeah. Yeah.
console you clicked on upload and all. So if you want to do some stuff and create a csv file within code, you need to use put based methods. So let's see get based methods now. So there is something called get based method which is very important. So we'll click on get object. So they are saying what this does. So basically when you use get object, it will try to display the file content or all that stuff. So this has a lot of you know parameters to it. All of them are not mandatory, but all we need is get object the name. Copy this, and we will pass the bucket name and key name. So what key name is like the file name, and bucket name you already know, which is
Yeah.
this one, and key name the file name. So we need to pass those things, and let's try. So again, starting response. So this method also will be responding something, and we'll see get object and what dot s3 dot get object, s3 dot get object. And as I said, it has a few mandatory things like required fields, meaning this bucket you need to provide, and you have something called which are not mandatory, and there are few more things. See, key is required. So these two are very much required. So we'll copy the syntax bucket.
Yes.
You're understanding, right? Able at least
Yeah. Yeah.
you will getting the familiarity of the basic task. Like one is bucket, second thing is key.
See.
Okay, we just copy paste this here, and now we will replace it with your actual values. So
Yeah.
bucket, what is our actual bucket name? Which is
October
we
something.
go back
AWS
to
training. Yeah.
yeah, just copy this bucket name, bucket name. Okay, and let's also copy the key name. So instead of this file, let's create some quickly some file, or or okay, let's rename this and quickly print the content of it. Just say resume. This is my resume or something. Resume.pdf. I'm just renaming the file, and we'll just have that key name. So what's the key name now? So you can
Yes.
copy the key URL from here, or you can just simply copy this one.
Okay.
Just do this and go back to your Lambda code and just give this one. That's it. So your bucket name is this one, and what file do you want to read? That is resume.pdf. And what's the method that you are using? Both of the method, it's get object. So get object will get you the file content, whatever you pass it as a key. Okay, if you have other file, give a different that file name here. So now let's quickly try to print the response here. Okay, again, be sure that this will also contain all the unformatted things. We need to format it quickly. Okay, but here you are understanding, right? We are just grabbing the response, trying to print it.
Yes.
Get object. It is updated. Now let's click on test. Okay, now you see there is a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of
Okay.
stuff, but the content is not actually printed. It is printed all the stuff. So basically, there would be something called body, and within it, body, where is body? Yeah, if you see here,
It's
body. Yeah, this is the key, this is the value. If you see here, it's not printing the actual content of the resume. We need to format it. I mean, we need to decode it. Only then you would be able to read it. How do we do it? First thing, get the body. I'm just copying this. copy keyword, sorry, that body. So print under response, you just give body. So out of body, you do this, and you have some method called read. And let's try if you can read the actual content now. Deploy, deployment successful, test. I just hit test. So let's, did I hit? Okay, I didn't. Taking time. So if you see here, it is printing something, but it's humanly unreadable, right?
Okay.
You're seeing something, right? All this
Yes.
stuff, my file content. Okay. So that was my very old resume, and let's try to decode it. Since it is encoded, we are unable to read it. So we'll just add decode, decode. There is something called UTF-8, which is a encoding standard. So you need not by heart this or something, but this is just to make it readable. We are adding this, deploying, deployment successful. Now I'll click on hit test. Okay, it's something. What error I'm getting? UTF-8 Unicode. Okay, Unicode can't be decode XD. Byte. Okay, let's quickly Google this, like why this error is. Maybe that's due to PDF file or maybe that's due to this PDF file. Let's create quickly one sample file, and we'll see. I'm sharing my entire screen.
Okay.
Let me know if my screen is visible. It is
Yeah,
visible,
it's
right?
possible. Yeah.
So we have something called employees.csv, and I will just try to add modify this. If, for example, employee, what do employees have? The IDs, the fields,
Name.
name, maybe age, or DOB or something, date of birth, and maybe salary, maybe or city that they live in. That's fine till
Okay.
now. So we'll just add two things like one is Praneeth is one employee. Oh, sorry, this is ID, right? Right, and let's have it like ID is 101 one, and instead of we'll just add phone number or the gender. Let's be make it simple,
Okay.
gender and city. Okay, we just say male and city. Maybe instead of city I'll just have the US. So similarly for my name I'll just have a new thing, M, and city, maybe I'll just have Hyderabad. So this is a simple file, CSV file. I'm just quickly saving this, and I'm quickly going back to my this one, the what do we call the bucket. Click on upload, add files, desktop, employees.csv. Okay, it's saying it's already in use. You cannot upgrade it, meaning you need to close it before.
Okay.
Since that was open in our system. Oh man, this is still Excel SV. Oh, let's see how if this causes an error, or let's try to see. Employee, what was the key name? The key name is employee CSV XLXC, right?
Yes.
So I'll just add it in my key instead of resume.pdf. I'll just add this. Okay, now this is fine now, and I'll just quickly deploy. and test. Let's hope there will be no error.
Yes, yes.
UTF can't decode bytes in positions. And print S3 file XLSV SLSX. How to read and load file S3. Please do that change. Okay, we did till here body read. Okay, and I think we are missing encoding bytes stuff or they are using pandas. Okay, it's not needed. So if I stored in S3. Okay, we did this S3 object my bucket name. Are we missing anything? This is possible. Okay, body read. Okay, let's do one thing. Instead of CSV, I'll just convert that to CSV. Sure, if we can directly do this. And yeah, here. I'm just converting this to a CSV file. Now this should work. UTF-8 CSV file. Is there any other UTF-8? Okay. Yeah. Save. Yeah. So yeah, coming back, we have uploaded CSV file instead of Excel SV. So now let's try to we would need to modify our new file,
Yep.
deploy, and then just hit test. Yeah, if you see here now, we were able to print the content of it. Okay,
Yes.
ID, name, all this stuff. Like this is a basic thing, like how to read your data file. So, but in data engineering, there would be a lot of complex transformations that we need to do, like maybe modifying the data, city to full name, or adding a new record called address, like a lot of transformations that we will be using in detail, like when we start ahead with the glue jobs and PySpark. So this is plain
Right.
Python. This is plain Python, but when you deal with a lot of data, it's called PySpark. You need to use PySpark related stuff.
Okay. Sure.
So, is it clear till here, or
Yes, sir.
are you getting confused anywhere?
No, no, I'm good.
Okay, so just that we saw that yesterday, whenever a file is uploaded, automatically this is triggered. Today we saw like mostly it's like when we manually click on test, and now there
Yep.
is another way as a schedule, as I said. So events is one way. Second thing is schedule. So I'll quickly show you how to schedule your jobs or the Lambda functions. Like maybe you might be sleeping after daily at night, and at 3 p.m. your Lambda should run. Who is going to invoke? You would not be waking up and trying to hit the test
Right.
button right here. So that's when there is something called event bridge. It's a different service, small service, not as big as Lambda or S3 event bits. It's a simple service for your scheduling.
Okay.
Okay, just like how IAM is for permissions, imagine event bridge is for your scheduling.
Scheduling the
Okay.
okay tasks.
Yeah, scheduling not only your Lambda functions, but glue
Any
jobs,
functions.
etc. Anything like everything under AWS, you can schedule it here. So under when you go to Amazon Event Bridge console, there is something called rules. So you need to choose rules, and there are no rules as of now. So let's click on create rule. Okay, create rule. Now there you can give it any name like start. What is your Lambda name? It is hello world, right?
Yes.
So start hello world Lambda. Okay, this is just a rule name. Like what do you call want it to call? You can give it any name. Start hello world Lambda. Now this rule will start your Lambda at your defined schedule. So let's choose a schedule. Okay. Now continue with event bit scheduler. Okay. So you can give a description. It's optional. Okay, but name is mandatory. And now let's ignore all these things. Let's keep them to default. Okay, now see, now it's asking the occurrence, which is important. So one time schedule, how do you want to run your Lambda? On a recurring basis, I mean daily repeated mode, or you just start once and forget kind of thing. So
Okay.
if you want to choose a recurring one, you can just choose your time, time zone. If it is UTC, this is Indian time, Asia Calcutta. And now you can choose, I mean, every 12 hours, every 10 minutes, like every every 2 hours, like when you want to run, like if you want to run only once in a week, then what you can do is you can give 7 here and days here. So it says run off the schedule. So every 7 days, your time would be your Lambda would be triggered. So similarly, you can even use a cron expression. So there is something called cron expression in widely used in data engineering terminology. So what
Okay.
a cron expression does is it's a schedule, but it would be recognized in a 6 digit or 5 digit thing, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and this has certain values like first box is minutes, second box is hours, third is day of month, day of week, year. So basically when you see, I'll just give you an example. Okay, okay, this is not very important, but it's good to know cron. What does cron mean? So whenever someone says talks about cron, it is related to scheduling. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll tell you. Let's take an example. 30 here, and here it is 9 day of a month. How many days a month has? 30 or 31, right? So let's say like 10th of a month. And what month? 12 months, right? In 12 months, let's consider January. One day of the week. How many days a week has? 7 days, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Monday, yeah, one. Okay, year. If you want to give it any year like 2025, okay. Now this is how invalid, okay, invalid cron expression, next 10 triggers. Okay, let's have it this way. 2020. What does here mean? I usually we have only 5, but some element is the optional one, which is you know let's give star here. Mm, 9 hours, day of month. But still this is, it says invalid cron. Okay, so I'll tell you one thing. So mainly whenever you say 30 minutes and in maybe 9 hours, so what it understands is every 9:30 and day of the month, like what is the day of the month? Like if it's the 10th, and what month is January, and what week Monday, and what year. Star means every year. So whenever there's a star here, it assumes that every day, like if you want to run Monday to Sunday, you can just give star. And if you want
Okay.
to run in every month, like not only in January, just give star here. Similarly, same kind of thing. So based on cron
Okay.
expression, you can actually we have something called cron Guru, which is actually a great website to validate your all this stuff. So for example, if you see here, you do this right, like how many minutes, like 30th minute, and which hour, 9 hour, and a day. What do you do? What day? 10th of each month. What month? What is month? January maybe. And finally is the weekday or Monday. Monday or something, right? You can give MON or one. That's still the same. Okay. So now if you see here, it just says like at 9:30. It gives the meaning actually. The beauty of this website. See, at 9:30 on a day of month 10 on 10th and on Monday in January. This now your job when you give this your Lambda function would be triggered at that time. So that's how this works. Like a simple thing. Don't think about it that much. But cron is something to schedule your things.
Okay.
Okay. And if you say, hey, I don't want all this stuff, just do it like rate based thing. It's much easier. Click on rate based things, like you would be saying once in a week, or once in 7 hours, or once in 7 minutes, whatever number that you want. Like just give one here, and if you choose hour, every 1 hour, irrespective of your at what time it's starting, every 1 hour your Lambda would be triggered. Every 1 hour, every 1 hour, every 1 hour.
Okay.
Okay. And finally you can also give all these things like start date, end date. So once you click on next, right, once you save this, during the triggers you can come back to here. And previously we had S3 trigger. Whenever a file is uploaded to S3, this one should be triggered, right? So similarly you can add that trigger. What is the trigger now? Our event rule, right? That event bridge rule. So click on event and source. You can see, you can just type in event bridge or change, and within that you can even use existing rules which we just created, or you can even create by here itself. So instead, I mean, I took you to here and created, but there is a even more simpler way. I just realized in Lambda only, while adding, it's asking you can create it here. You can add it cron expression here. So whatever the expression that we were typing here, right? So it says here only we can type cron. You see
Okay.
here, whenever it's a star, every day, Monday to Friday, whatever, depending on the use case, you can give, click on add. So that's how you can work with schedule based invocations, and also the event based invocations.
Okay.
So any confusion, or you
No, no.
are you understanding the concept?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the major things about the Lambda, the Boto 3, how to interact with S3, S3. So do you have any questions in Lambdas, or the S3s? Basically, so I strongly suggest to do the hands-on regularly, the assignment that I gave to understand things better. But it's up to you, like whenever you have time, depending on your feasibility.
Okay. And I get one question, sir.
Yeah.
During this training, are you gonna teach me any Python?
Actually, Python itself is a dedicated thing. Like it will take a lot of time, but I'm trying my best to teach you. Like whatever we need with respect to AWS data engineering. Like what libraries, for example, Boto3 is one such library. So if you want to learn Python, right? So we need to start from very basics, like what is print statement, what is response, why did we give square brackets to it, why a normal brackets to it,
Yeah.
like we have dictionaries, list, tuples, lot of things. So Python training, like it's a very time taking. So if we go with I can teach. That's even more easier to explain, and even more easier for you to understand, but we would be out of our track, which is AWS data engineering.
Okay.
But don't worry, like I mean, Python is like, you can even if you are able to understand the code, That's fine, but our major focus, as I said, would be on AWS architecture and how do you want to integrate with other services for building data pipelines, running data engineering tasks.
Okay. But without the knowing these code, how to run these codes, I can't do that, right, sir?
Yeah, yeah, true, true. That I said on the day one itself. But without SQL and Python, like data engineering would be very tough. But since I mean, you wanted to learn AWS, how it works on AWS data engineering thing. So I said I would be trying my best, to teach all the things from basics. So I'll do one thing. So within the time period that we have, right? So if you can, cover. Like AWS like a little bit faster, and if you want, only if you want, like to deeply learn what Python is from scratch, I can teach you. It's up to you. So how do
Yeah.
you want to proceed?
Yeah, I mean, I need to learn Python too, sir.
Python too?
Just, yeah.
Hmm. I'm just confused. Like how? I mean, shall we complete AWS first, or the Python? Because as per this guy, or and per my availability, 1 month was the course duration, and since we already started with the basics of AWS, and we have already covered like almost two services, S3 and Lambda, we'll quickly do the AWS training, and once there would be a few more days left, like definitely. So if you want, I can start with Python, so that it would be helpful for you.
Okay.
It's up
Sure.
to you. It's up to you. Completely up to you. You just think about it. What do you want? What you want to learn, and then we'll decide.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. But for now, we would be exploring the AWS mainly because this is. I mean, to be frank, I'm just being open with you. Like, Python is very easy. Like, you can even learn from YouTube or something. But AWS is a niche skill, right? Like, you need a dedicated trainer to make
Yeah.
things understand all that stuff. So it's up to you.
Okay. Sure. Sure. I'll
Yeah.
let you know by tomorrow, sir.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
sure. But did you understand the concept of lambdas and S3s like as part
Yeah.
of our training? Okay, you are able to understand, right? Let me know if you do
Yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
understand.